back. Quick filler episode last week, and now we are on to... Well, currently, you find yourselves in Warp as you travel towards the vault. You have successfully rescued Champernon from the gangers, and also escaped a lockdown of the planet that was put on by an Inquisitor Winters, who Champernon has told you is mostly thought of as being dead. Like, he hasn't submitted a report in years, which is, generally speaking, means you're KIA in the Inquisition. You were looking at about... Yeah. You're looking at about 8-week jump through Warp to the vault, as it is basically in the middle of nowhere by design.
Did we send word to the Lord Inquisitor that they're after the vault? I think we did.
You did before jumping into Warp. You had managed to get the message out to the Lord Inquisitor and had him rescind the lockdown order of the planet. He is still waiting for your report of your investigation on World.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing is we wanted to question and or torture the shit out of Champernon to make absolutely sure he's on the level.
Alright.
Well, take him to the room of the hot pokers and things.
I'm assuming you have Champernon, in essence, locked in his quarters for the time being.
Yeah. Under guard, searched, etc. And when we question him, we'll probably have to do it the not nice way.
Okay.
Just for thoroughness and the fact that it's 40k. I don't want to be a dick to the guy, but demons, etc.
Well, you do have a room, an old storeroom, that has been cleared out of any things that need to be stored, and instead has been placed a table, 2 chairs, all bolted to the ground, and whatever else you need to get answers from people.
Do we have access to an excruciator kit?
Make an influence roll to see if you were able to acquire one.
I guess not.
Unfortunately, excruciator kits are somewhat hard to find.
Alright. Irritating.
You have a phone book.
I'm gonna drop this on his crotch from like 3 feet up if you don't talk. So I could use some help figuring out questions. One was when do you believe Rose was bound to the demon host?
Let's see. I believe it was it Aldathorn?
Yeah, it's not Rose.
Aldathorn, sorry.
Wait, who's Rose?
There's a character, Rose Thorn, I think from Bone. I think that's what I'm getting.
Yeah. I think you're also combining the Blue Rose.
Yeah, probably. I definitely have brain problems today. But yeah, when do you believe Alda was possessed was one question.
Okay.
I also wanted to ask, do you know the demon's true name? Do you know the command words, etc.? Like, what do you know about the demon so we can try to research how to kill it?
Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, the captain of the ship comes up to inform you that Champernon has been transferred to the interrogation room and is awaiting your... he's awaiting your instructions.
Alright, who wants to go and ask some pointed questions with me?
Ooh, me!
I mean,
Says Gar.
We do want to try to keep him alive, though. We're testing to see if he's good enough to trust to keep alive, because he's our last connection to Sutton and Hassar, and he's useful, and he seems to be on the level, but that's what the brutal interrogation is for.
Gar frowned, but nods in acceptance.
This is bullshit. Just patting Oswald monologue in his head. So yeah, I guess we'll go in. I'll sit down and just kind of. Okay.
Okay. Currently, Champernon is just sitting in a chair. Inquisitor, I must say, this, normally I'm not quite in this position.
Hopefully, it's a temporary thing until we can get you an identity someplace. But first, we need to make sure you're safe. I haven't informed the Lord Inquisitor of your presence yet. I'm hoping not to have to, but well, we're gonna find out together how that goes.
I hope that you don't have to as well.
Valid. So when did you and Hassar begin to disagree?
Oh, well, I suppose the major split of that would be when he summoned the demon host on Laren 9K and destroyed the Baneblade.
You had you made it sound like there had been something of a growing rift between you before then.
I admit I'm having a hard time remembering a lot of the events before that. My memory has been fuzzy lately. There are events that I remember, but I don't logically see how they could have happened.
Like what?
Well, I remember there were events where rituals had been performed, but then they also hadn't been. But there were rooms on Magnus's ship that had been prepared for rituals, and I remember hearing chants, but then I don't remember the ritual happening. It's like gaps in my memory.
Let's assume that your memory's been meddled with. Also, I'm going to scrutinize.
Yep, go ahead.
And roll 100.
You're not sure.
You were close.
Did you ever reload the chat?
No, sorry.
God fucking damn it.
I don't know if that's actually what causes it. I know it lags
It'll
stuff.
make me feel better. Alright.
Do the placebo.
I need that sweet, sweet placebo. Fucking... Alright. Let's assume that those memories of heretical acts and rituals are correct and your memory is being occluded by the work of the demon. What do you remember of the things that you don't think happened? If that makes sense.
If I believe I understand what you're asking. My understanding is that Magnus was using the power of the demon to collect clues and leads on the Ebony Syndicate, having been run into dead ends in the investigation and, in essence, needing a win.
Can I scrutinize that as well?
Yes, you can.
Seems like a...
He does seem to be telling the truth, or at least the truth as he believes it.
And we wound up determining the Ebony Syndicate was run by that buttlord on the Skola planet, right?
Yes, he was the head of it.
And remind me, the Blue Rose was Sutton, right?
Yes, that would be Sutton.
Did he ever suspect Sutton might be working against him?
Working against Magnus or working against me? Or the Inquisition?
All three.
Sutton is beyond loyal to Magnus. He is sycophantic, to say the least. As for working against the Inquisition, well, that I would say is quite obvious.
For how long is the question? Because we know that the Blue Rose was working with the Ebony Syndicate, right? He was using that alias, and it had some significance that we used to find a lead. I just can't remember all the details.
Yeah, the Blue Rose had some connection to the Ebony Syndicate, but not necessarily in the way of working with them. The name
Okay,
popped up a few times during the investigation.
Then I'll ask him, what do you know about the Blue Rose?
Oh, the Blue Rose? Well, that was B. Sutton's code name, one of a few he had used. It was primarily the code name he used during his Ebony Syndicate investigations.
What other code names did he use?
Yeah, what other what resources or connections might Magnus have that he could use against us at the vault?
That I'm not sure about. Magnus has been an Inquisitor for many decades and has been able to collect quite a few what one would consider off the book resources. As well, I suppose just in situations like this, although I'm assuming he probably thought less that he would be hunted as a heretic rather than the other way around.
Do you know why Hassar and Sutton tried to have us killed?
Which time?
Really, any of them. You take my meaning. If he thought he was still in control of the demon host at that point, what was the benefit, or was it as petty as simple politics?
I believe you're referring to the events after the conclave. If he attempted to kill you ahead of time, which I wouldn't be privy to, as generally Inquisitors don't tell me who they are having killed and for what reason, but if it was before the conclave, it would simply be to plug a leak to protect to protect Sutton's identity. Afterwards, I'm sure it was just a combination of both protecting himself, preventing evidence from being leaked out, and just petty desire to see you dead for acting against him.
I'll scrutinize that again.
Okay.
I think he's probably telling the truth as far as motherfucking horse fuck.
He's a little addled, unfortunately, and you're not sure if he's telling the truth.
Can I scrutinize?
Yeah.
She's there too.
Yeah, please do. This is annoying me.
I have an out of character question. Was the remember the clone mission? Was that before or after the conclave? I don't remember.
The clone mission?
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean the one with the ice planet?
Yeah.
Yes, that was after.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, let me just double check my notes very quick.
I do just feel like there's a disconnect between him being a hypothetically loyal Inquisitor and him gunning for other known inquisitorial assets, especially ones that have been getting results.
Here we
then
are.
I guess if he really is that much of a petty shit.
Yep. Gelgid, the ice world was after the conclave.
Okay, I'll be right back. I ordered some food.
Okay.
I've got some demon-y questions for when I'm back.
I will also be right back. I have to leave and rejoin.
Okay.
I'll
Unfortunately.
be right back. I will go fill my vape with stuff.
Okay. I'm just going to quickly.
Go back to onward to our commercial break.
I'm just going to pause the recording. Okay.
Go back to a commercial break.
Yeah. I just want to give a quick summary of the events of the campaign, just so everyone could remind themselves as what had happened. So, you currently are investigating Champernard. You are interrogating him.
Okay, so we know what planet the demon host was summoned on, and roughly when. How much do you know about the book, and the secrets within it?
Do you mean the Secrets of the Hidden Path?
Yes.
It was a book recovered from a heretical cell approximately 3 years ago. At that point, Magnus had declared it to have been burned in his report to the Inquisition. I had thought he had had it burned as well, but considering the demon host, I believe that to be untrue. I suspect that possibly is when he began to take a more heretical path towards investigation. I believe you refer to it as the radical path.
What specifically prompted you to reach out to us at the conclave?
I don't remember it though. That's the thing.
You're gonna scrutiny that?
Yep.
Okay.
I suspect he's being honest. Like, they probably mind scrubbed him or something.
Can you undo mind scrubbing?
Yes and no.
We might be able to if we had access to a psyker in time, but I don't think we have a psyker aboard aside from our navigator.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have the training needed to do that. He is telling the truth. He does not remember any, like, really much of the conclave, and he is really just telling you what he believes to be the honest truth.
Alright.
You would also remember that Alda Thorn had also attempted to contact you, requesting being able to be pulled out of the conclave and out of Hasar's control.
Okay. Might be getting that. Okay, so he doesn't remember anything about the book. None of its contents, anything that actually, what was Hasar? Where did his missions take him at that point? Like, what objectives was he securing, or what things was he doing?
Do you mean 3 years ago when he found the hidden path?
No, when he began using it after the
after he summoned the host.
yeah.
Oh, well, before that, he was investigating the Ebony Syndicate. He was the very first Inquisitor tasked with doing the preliminary investigation, where before he had been the, in essence, Star Inquisitor of the Lord Inquisitors, the group that he controlled. The fact he wasn't able to find any information was a tremendous blow to his ego. There were rumors that while he was set to become the new Lord Inquisitor, this delay in his investigation had possibly elevated other Inquisitors into that role. I don't believe he took that quite well.
Mm.
And now he's a heretic.
Did his missions after summoning the demon host change in terms of his objectives, or did they not seem to have to do with the investigation directly? Like, were there ends he was serving toward the demon host rather than towards investigating the syndicate?
After Omia, I know that you investigated Omia. I read the reports. Sutton left with Alda Thorn and a few other inquisitorial agents on a secret mission. I was not told the results. It occurred a few weeks before your mission to Omia. When they returned, Alda was different. I believe that is when she first became the demon host.
How different? How did she act?
Where before she was very skittish, attempting to become not very confident. I wasn't sure if she necessarily had the will to serve the Inquisition. She certainly had the skills. She was an excellent, able to just process vast quantities of information, form very unique connections that proved to be true. But she was not one who could deal with pressure very easily. When on her return, she was self-assured, very confident, did her best to stay close to Magnus, where before she did everything she could to stay away from him, and was reluctant to be called by him. I had hoped perhaps the mission there had been simply good for her, and it just had been able to allow her to become more confident, but it just didn't seem... The Alda Thorn that went to Omia did not return.
Interesting.
As for the missions for Hussar, after Sutton came back from his secret missions, Ebony Syndicate leads began to simply develop as almost out of thin air. Magnus was able to get what before had been few scant traces of the Ebony Syndicate, often with their tracks covered. Suddenly he was finding entire cells of them, finding their leads, finding their buyers, really everything. It was like a switch was flipped.
Okay. Do you know anything about the contents of that heretical book?
I never read it myself. I have been privy to certain bits of heretical knowledge that I suspect would be in the book. Demonic names, the incantations required to actually summon and bind a demon, as well as incantations and runic inscriptions that would cause a soul to be vacated from a body by force.
How many names of demons were in the book?
In that book, I couldn't be sure.
Were there any other tells or habits that suggested Thorn was slipping Sutton's control or Hussar's control?
She definitely would. Hussar was Magnus is a very fastidious man. Generally liked to keep people at a distance if he could. And where at first he would keep Alda as far distance as he could, only calling on her a few times after the mission to what I can only assume to be Omiya, she suddenly found herself closer and closer to him. And many times she wouldn't leave his side. I suspect that might be. She might not necessarily have been slipping control, but definitely integrating herself with him. And yes, we see where that led to. As for where she actually left control, if she truly did, it's possible it was on Layer 9K. He had to utilize the creature's intense power to destroy that Baneblade. That level of release could have undone all the bindings.
Did you hear the code word he used, or the command word he used to destroy that Baneblade?
Yes, it was the Sugaral.
Okay, can I make a Forbidden Lore Heresy check on that?
Yes, you can.
I'll fate that one.
Okay.
Seems like it's worth trying. Hey!
Yeah. That, you've heard it a few times. You have seen it written
Did he
in...
use that at the Enclave? Or did he use that word at the Enclave?
You can't remember. Not really.
Or we just didn't know what it was, what it meant.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time he'd used some like language you could not identify. With that role, I would say that you've seen that name pop up a few times over a couple thousand years in relation to various heretical cells or with Chaos Space Marines attempting something like not necessarily a Black Crusade, but like just raids into the Imperium. The name would seem to suggest a demon. And I'm actually going to paste it in chat for you. There you go.
Thank you. So we can hypothetically research that, see if we can find when it was invoked and see if we can piece stories together. But that'll be after the questioning. What language did he speak with Thorn when he was reprimanding her at the Conclave?
It was some unknown alien language. I had never heard it myself. It's possible, and certain heretical texts are written in Xenos language in order to obscure their actual contents. A book written in a Xenos language isn't necessarily worthy of being killed if you're a noble or a rogue trader. So I think that might have been it. Maybe, or simply could have been some warp incantation. I'm sorry, I just wasn't able to identify it.
That in and of itself seems telling, given his career. Do you know? Did you see any other capabilities of the demon before it became unbound?
No, not really, but I suspect there must have been some, but I'm having a hard time remembering.
Would I be able to try a willpower or an interrogation check or something to see if I can help shock his memory, or is this psychic bullshit?
You could attempt it.
I will try it.
Okay.
I will say I apologize in advance, and then just immediately reach out and slam his nose into the table.
Yeah.
Aw, come on.
Can
I get a bonus for that, or a +10 from somebody helping?
I've got to help you. Just declare it in the future if you're gonna assist.
Yeah.
But we'll say you get a +10 to that, so that would pass. You grab him by his hair and just slam his head. You just hear a crunch of bone, and his head reaches up, and it's just blood pouring from his nose, from his mouth.
Gar says to him politely, "You seem to be bleeding," and offers him a towel. That's Gar's contribution.
Gar hands him a towel. He is going to take.
I'll laugh if you kill
He'll
him.
take a wound.
I was gonna laugh if you killed him.
If it helps, my strength bonus is piddly, so he'll probably be alright.
Plot twist, he had only one wound.
And, I'll ask him in dead seriousness, did that help? I'm not trying to be a dick. I genuinely wanted to punch that out of him.
I think I remember Alda coming and speaking to me every once in a while, and afterwards my memory became very hazy, and I couldn't remember much.
Okay.
She would ask me things about Magnus and Sutton and the Inquisition, and afterwards I'm having a hard time remembering what I told her, what she really asked.
Do you remember how much you trusted her with your answers, at least?
I trusted her as much as I always had. She was my protege at first, but as she began spending more and more time with Magnus, I'm so sorry I can't remember.
I scrutinize that, but I think he's on the level.
Yep, go ahead. His words are a little slurred because you think he might have bit his tongue a bit.
Oh.
And you're having a hard time telling if he's telling the truth, if you rattled his head a little too much. But yeah, you're just having a hard time.
Can I scrutiny that?
Sure. You think he's telling the truth, yeah.
My apologies.
Of course.
Jerk.
Hey, this is demon shit. You gotta take demon shit seriously.
No, you're quite correct, Inquisitor. That is to say, it's some of the least I've seen of ensuring purity. Normally, people just bearing out the electrodes.
We're on a budget. We've
You shopped at Claire's?
we do not.
She went to Leclerc's.
We need to try to research those phrases to whatever extent we can.
Is that a specific role, or can logic work with that?
No, this would probably be Forbidden Lore Xenos to try and decipher the language, or Forbidden Lore Heresy or Warp in order to try and piece together what it might be. It's also going to be an extended use test, and you're going to need something to reference, which you don't a book of some measure or inquisitorial records that you don't have access to currently.
Have fun with the RNG.
You could requisition them, and it wouldn't necessarily be a influence roll. The influence roll would be how soon you get those.
I see. I'll try it.
Okay.
An influence to get those books on back. Alright, I'll fate that.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, good luck with your rolls.
So, you order the captain to drop out of warp and get your astropath to send a message to an inquisitorial area where they would store like things like that, like in inquisitorial records. And the astropath just sends out the message like, I've told them that you're going to need reference material. I will await your actual the response, and hopefully we'll be able to have those soon. Would you like me to send your report to the Lord Inquisitor now, my lord?
I guess probably now's the time, unless you guys want to do any further grilling of Champernon.
It's well grilled.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty grilled.
What would you like to tell the Lord Inquisitor?
So we need to keep Champernon secret for now. Possibly forever, because he does seem to be on the level. We'll keep him under guard, of course. So we'll... I guess we can just say the Glass Wasp died on that planet. We'll give the report on how we had to go loud, or shoot up an entire highway full of cops, which he'll probably be like, why didn't you just shoot up the highway full of cops?
Because you have a soul for some reason.
It's not a good idea to have one of those in 40k, admittedly.
And you give me shit about not having one.
They're
True.
technically real in 40k.
Just in the worst way.
Alright. So you're just going to basically just give like an overview of what you did on Talia when trying to catch the Glass Wasp. Just
And then-
say that he died and that he pointed to the vault.
I would say, yeah, we intercepted the Glass Wasp, killed or interrogated him after beheading the Skull Crew, and executed him. Or
Okay.
there's something in my head that I'm trying to get out the phrasing of exactly, and I can't get it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
But it is, you're
Basically, that's the gist of it.
and you're just keeping Shepherdon secret from him. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll keep him under guard for now and also forever, and we'll keep him in our back pocket as an asset. Because A, he seems to still be loyal. B, we don't want to make an example of the guy in the retinue who was trying to get word out in time. And he's also our last lead.
Okay. All right. And you would have been told the Lord Inquisitor did put out an order that any member of the retinue of Hussar would have to be purged. It's just policy.
Fuck.
So. But so the you tell the Astropath all this. The Astropath summons, like, you can just feel the psychic power as he like sends out the messages, tingles across the skin. For Watchmaker, it'd be a very uncomfortable feeling. He reports back.
Garnar
Message has been received. I'm receiving a message back. They're asking to fill in a gap in the report. Yes. There was the... Yes, looking over the report, the Lord Inquisitor is interested in following you leaving the planet. A building was destroyed via an explosive device, and several civilians were killed.
After we left the planet?
Yes, this would be after you left the planet, but from what we've been able to determine, they were leads in the investigation. He's curious as to why you had them killed.
Who did we have killed?
I don't think we did. Did somebody falsify our shit?
Yes, it was 3 people. The Dag Bleeder, a man known as Brick, and a man known as The Wall at the Fixer Up Garage.
Oh.
Apparently, an explosive device was provided to Dagbleeder, who then brought it to the fixer-up garage. It detonated, destroying the building and all the people inside. Were you covering? He wishes to know if you were covering up leads.
Was that us? Did we do that?
We got into a gun.
Blew up during that mission.
Everybody except Tigo make a scrutiny roll.
Oh, god damn it, Tigo.
Oh yeah, Watchmaker. You look over to Tigo, and as much as he is attempting to like cover up his smirk, he can't like hide from you.
Tigo.
Wrong one.
Oh, you.
You blow everyone up.
I like how you forgot about it too.
Yeah, Eve, you just see Tigo like attempting to like stifle a laugh. He's just got his hand over his mouth, but like he's like trying not to smirk at this.
So that Dagbleeder guy came out really up out in front, right?
I thought
All
you
right.
just-
I'll tell the Lord Inquisitor. Yes, we were burying leads.
I'll
And
transmit.
I'm gonna give Tigo a fucking look.
I'll send that message out right now, my lord.
Thank you.
Next time, Tigo gets to write the report.
Can I out of character this though right now?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, if you want to explain.
When I did that tech roll and I asked to borrow Watchmaker's tool, and then he just rolled to help me fix the explosive.
Oh, you fucked it up.
Yeah, you just went right ahead and just like fixed it for me, and pretty much are my accomplice.
Yeah, he like rigged up an explosive device to give to Dag, and told Dag to just go to the fixer-up garage. And it was Dag didn't know what it was, but yeah, it was basically just like a letter bomb.
He thought that it was Pew Pew Buster's initiation, pretty much.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, Tigo manipulated you into like helping him. It was really funny.
Like, it was over like 2 sessions, too. No, and then the.
Well, you've got your fucking hook for the Black Crusade game, Ian.
And then I wrote the one on the influence was the whole spiel to Dagbleeder on that last session.
Yep. Yeah, he rolled
That
it.
was- The influence for one was to set that all up.
Yeah, he manipulated that pretty well.
It was gonna happen as soon as that one showed up.
All right. So, sending that to the Lord Inquisitor. The captain asks if you're ready to go back into warp. You're about 6 weeks out from arriving at the vault.
Assuming no further response, yeah, we'll go.
Okay. The ship shutters close again, and you can feel that strange lurch as it just falls back into the warp. Did you want to do anything within those 6 weeks?
Does he have
Researching
any-
what I can about that tome and seeing if I can get some stuff for the gang.
Okay. So until you have the research material, this extended use test is just going to be at a -10. Once you get it, it'll give you a bonus. So just roll. It's going to be 6 rolls once a week. Yeah, 1 for each week you go by.
Okay, and I take it event like in the middle of these, I'll start getting the when the info arrives.
You would have been given basically a pickup point.
Oh, okay, and that's where we're heading, right?
Yeah, the Inquisition would have informed you that they will send a ship to meet you at the vault. Okay, so 3 degrees for your first week. Okay, you're still a degree ahead. The research materials are very limited at this point.
Yeah.
Once
I
he
don't like
gets
these
the
dice, Ian.
Once he gets the research material, can we
That's better.
like
I was gonna say, I forbidden lore.
partially help him?
If you have Forbidden Lore, you can assist him as well. Or the Forbidden Lore Heresy, or the Warp.
I fail.
Unfortunately, Gar's not strictly the best at finding out this information.
I'm assuming they could do like shifts, like when Watchmaker goes to bed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Gar sees these materials. He's like, oh, this is heresy. And he just throws it in a furnace.
Fuck this.
No, and I'm
To the burning pile.
no, Gar. This will help you find the heresy to burn personally.
Okay. After 6 weeks of research, while you're able to get some good initial leads, you're just not quite able to piece it together. A lot of it is purposely hidden in order to prevent you from actually like deciphering it. Heretics know that the Inquisition wants to kill them, and so they do take steps to ensure that their research materials are very difficult to decipher.
Damn.
Did anybody else want to do anything in those 6 weeks' time?
Maybe manufacture a good identity for Champernon and find a place to drop him off.
Yeah, you could do something like that. So this would just be a deception roll. This would be 6 deception rolls to see how good of an identity you can prepare for Champernon. So whoever
Okay,
wants to start doing that.
Would he be better off? I don't know. Would he be useful coming with us, or do you think he would be a detriment?
He's not a fighter. He's good with study. And more to the point, we can't like absolutely trust him along on this.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like.
Plus, I don't want like the Lord Inquisitor to show up and just find him on our ship, like, hey.
As amusing as that would be for me.
Yeah.
Am I the deceiver here?
Whoever wishes to roll the deceive roll. It just can't be Watchmaker because he was doing the 6 weeks of research.
Okay, and I assume I won't be able to assist in that case.
Can I use the disguise kit?
You could use the disguise kit for the very first roll, just because this is a combination of both disguising his appearance as well as producing like a fake identity for him.
Okay. How many rolls? 6?
This will be 6. Yep.
Oh, wow. Very.
Okay.
That's what, 5?
5, I believe. Okay. So, at first,
That was a good one.
you're not
That
doing
last
so.
one helped a lot.
At first, you're not doing so hot. You're not able to find a lot of good places to put Champernon. But eventually, you do start to pull some inquisitorial assets, and you're able to make what you think is a relatively decent cover identity. It just shows that he is a brand, like, he has been a pilgrim who travels around a lot, doesn't believe in having material possessions, and so really just travels with the clothes on his back, and generally works as a religious scholar, but now would like to settle down. And you've created this fake identity as well as legitimate travel papers that will allow him to relocate to one planet only.
Guard Defeld Sr. has been born.
And I'll definitely make sure if we've got some stormtroopers on retinue that they're kind of keeping tabs.
You have about 12 stormtroopers on the ship's staff, who are a combination of ship security and just general, like, guard.
What happened to our stormtrooper Dave? Is he with us, or was with the?
The one from Laren 9K?
Yeah.
Last you heard, he was claimed by another Inquisitor.
Okay.
Hell-sized assets kind of got chopped up and doled out to other actual Inquisitors with real, like, seniority over you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you kind of just got the leftovers.
No, I was just wondering because he's the only surviving Dave.
How do we know that
You got, like, one.
our staff aren't going to snitch on us for having Champernon?
They shouldn't, but they might, and I mean, we can't really control that. I'll just have to make the argument if we get busted and hope it works. Because, I mean, if nothing else, he's insurance on this. I do know.
Okay. Did anybody else want to do anything in those 6 weeks' time? Did Eve want to do anything?
Reinforce Chewie.
I was thinking something with Chewie, but
What would you like to do with Chewie?
I don't know what can I do with Chewie.
You could do a few things. You could get somebody with tech use to assist you with, like, adding armor plates to give him better, like, body armor. You could do something to increase his, like, ability to bite or track. Just how would you like to improve Chewie?
Probably the armor, but didn't Tigo and Watchmaker use up their time?
Make it an influence roll because you can one, have to see if you can get somebody on the ship who's not busy to assist you, and you do actually have members. You have a tech priest, as well as people who do maintenance. All right. So it's a combination of getting armor plating for Chewie, as well as convincing the admech that this isn't tech heresy. So he is able to assist you. So he'll be rolling a couple of tech use rolls. Gonna roll in secret to see as you give him Chewie and you give him armor plates and you say, "Have at it." It's okay. Okay.
It's our day off and everybody's pacing outside Chewie's surgery room.
Let's see, how many was that? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The first few weeks it goes slow. The Adeptus Mechanicus priest is attempting to study Chewie's design, is going over and doing a bunch of rituals, is doing measurements, engineering, out basically using 40K AutoCAD, and is designing armor for Chewie. At the end, it's a little tight. His calculations were a bit off, but final week he's able to correct them and is able to give Chewie an additional, what's he currently have actually for his, what does he currently have for his armor on his body? Oh, 4. He gets an additional armor point across the board.
Nice.
So he becomes 5.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
It's a 20% increase in armor. Chewie comes out a little bulkier. He the Adeptus Mechanicus member comes to you, and I have it somewhere. My lord, I did my best to secure the Cybermastiff's additional armor plating. I removed some of the older armor, increased it with heavier armor to attempt to keep him as sleek as he was previously. I've increased his mass by approximately 4%.
Thank you.
You're
Good
quite.
job.
Thank you. Would you have any other assistance?
No, you're all set. Thank you.
Yeah. He bows his head and walks away.
Nice.
So how does that change Chewie?
Chewie is a little bulkier, but he's for the additional armor. He's not as heavily armored. He also looks about like he did before. So, from an outsider perspective, he still looks to be your pattern standard Cybermastiff. So, as for
Character sheet.
on the character sheet, he goes from I'll just do it, but it's basically like 5 armor instead of 4.
Oh, okay.
So he's a lot tougher now. Like he's at 8. He's at basically 8 because of his toughness and his armor to resist damage.
Sweet. Yay.
Nice.
We
So-
strong.
He looks at you, Bork. The advec just tightens the a screw in his throat. Bork. And the captain comes. My Inquisitor, the vault is approaching. We'll be dropping out of warp in the next few minutes.
Very well. Make ready. We don't know what we might arrive to.
We can drop out of warp at the end of the solar system and proceed on sublight engines as it would please you.
Can you do it without being detected on approach?
We will attempt a stealthier approach, my lord.
Do it.
He snaps his heels, heads back to the bridge. You feel as the ship just falls back into real space, and the shutters rise up, and you can see it's mostly an empty solar system. You do occasionally see bits of asteroid floating around. You're so far out into deep space that you really even are having a hard time seeing stars. But in front, several 100,000 kilometers, like, actually this would probably be like more like million, this would be more million kilometers, with the ship's actual like cameras giving you a close-up view, you see the vault, a massive asteroid. Approximately, it would be a little smaller than the moon of Terra. Actually, I think the moon of Terra is kind of blown to hell. So let's say 20th century moon of Terra size, according to your historical knowledge. The captain barks the orders to slow engines, keep heat signature low, and cut any and all radio transmission.
Do we have any passive reception if there's signals going out?
Yes, my Inquisitor, we have all passive sensors active. As long as we don't send out any pings, they shouldn't be able to detect us, unless, of course, they have their own active sensors, but hopefully not. At least not in our direction.
Does everything seem normal?
Radio chatter looks to be about correct. I've never been out to this station myself, my Inquisitor, but from my understanding, there's no alerts, no alarms. It seems to be normal. I should say that they will expect us to announce our presence, and we should, as we approach, they do have several different defense platforms, some hidden, some not. I would say the ship is not able to take too many hits from those platforms.
Yeah, if we'll keep getting closer before we hit the point where we get fragged for sneaking in before we announce ourselves. And keep an eye on signals just in case anything comes out or anything shows up.
Understood.
We'll announce ourselves when we reach the point where we have to.
Okay. It takes about 15 minutes, but you travel on like quarter engine speed to arrive about 1,000,000 kilometers away from the vault at this point. Another 15 minutes, 500,000 kilometers. Another 15 minutes, 250,000 kilometers as the captain makes orders to adjust the engine to keep slowing down as they approach. We'll want to announce our presence soon. They'll get suspicious, and as we approach, their sensors will be eventually able to detect us.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so about 250 kilometers out, the ship starts sending out radio signals. You hear alarms go throughout the
Every gun in the sector just
throughout the bridge. The alarms go off as they start to detect the defense platforms around the vault, as well as several hidden ones, power up and target the ship. A few people on the bridge are looking around nervously. The captain, if he is nervous, does not betray it.
I'll get ready to receive a hail and or send one.
Hail comes through. Announce yourself. If you do not present the correct code, you will be destroyed.
Do I have that code?
Yep, the captain already has it. Like, on your word, my lord, I will transmit our inquisitorial credentials.
Transmit code.
He hits a button. A few minutes passed. Code received. You may approach. The alarms turn off. And your vessel travels to approximately 50,000 kilometers away from the vault. You can now see it, and it's rocky, and you do actually see a little bit of building on the surface as the ship's cameras magnify it to show the landing pad. Okay. You can take a vessel down, my lord, and we'll be up here in case we are needed.
Very well. Remain at the ready. We have no idea when this will happen.
Understood.
Happen it will.
If you have need of us, simply find a long-range Vox transmitter, and we'll be able to receive you.
All right. Let's go say hi.
Okay. So, you have your shuttlecraft, Von Hogel, At the ready? Hey, let me know when you're ready, and I'll get you down there to look at this split love.
Okay, everybody ready?
Who wants to go on the boat? I mean, yes, I'm ready.
He leads you. Go into your little gun cutter. Takes off and doesn't take long. Just takes a couple of minutes, and you find yourself touching down at a landing pad. Von Hogel comes through the radio, like the little transmitter inside. Void suits are ready for you when you need them. It's going to be a bit of a walk from the landing pad to the actual entrance.
All right.
Limited
suit up.
atmosphere. And you find yourselves with the 4 different void suits.
Are they color coded?
They're all red. They're meant to like show up right away if like somebody's on the surface.
Makes sense.
They are thick, heavy suits. Definitely like one of those mass-produced kinds. They are not well fitted, but they look to be rugged and capable of surviving at least a little bit of wear and tear.
Oh, good.
As well as hopefully having some measure of safety in case they get torn. But you plop on the helmets, you put on the suits. It shows that it has a tight, airtight seal. Oxygen is at 100%. Von Hogel's voice comes through the transmitter again. All right, back of the ship has been depressurized. Let me know when you're ready to pop it open.
All right, let's go.
Okay. The door to the back opens up and just instant silence. The only sound you can hear is your breathing. As you walk onto this dusty asteroid surface, the sensation of weightlessness, or of near weightlessness, is very discomforting. And you look straight out, approximately 150 meters is the entrance to the vault. Just a dome-like structure with a airlock in the front.
Okay, let's head yonder.
Okay. Do you kind of do the little astronaut bunny jump to get there, or do you actually
Yes.
try to walk it? Okay.
Whee!
It's a bit of fun, actually. You don't normally get to do this, so...
Fun is rarely something one considers when valuing the fate of the universe, but
Toledo will smack you right now.
Selena would
just
just
pull
push...
my hose on my suit. Ah!
Well, she would take a knife and cut it so you couldn't put it back in.
Oh god.
Then she'd be like, look at him struggle. So yeah, you bunny hop your way over. Takes a few minutes, but eventually you do arrive. As you approach, a camera sees you, and the door, you see these great big gears turn, and these metal locks slide, and the door as much as it can. You get inside, the door shuts, and the room begins to pressurize. It's a red light until it reaches full 1 Earth pressure, at which point it turns green. And a robotic voice comes through saying that you are now safe to remove your void suits.
Okay. We will, or I will de-helmet. Just immediately die.
It is full of poisonous gas. And
Fuck.
so
Tomb of Horrors 40k edition.
you remove your helmet. The air is stale, but breathable.
Sounds about right.
It has an odd ozone smell to it.
Oxygen scrubbers.
There are lockers that you are able to place your void suits into. And the door to the interior of the vault opens up. There is a small room, and inside are two men. A shorter, older man with hair thinning a bit. It's completely gray. Wrinkles across the face. Just almost like a jumpsuit, entirely black with just a couple indicators showing. It's basically 3 gold bars across his chest. Standing next to him, taller, a lot younger. His hair is a bit longer, black, and same jumpsuit, but with the 3 gold bars on the chest. The older man taps his foot. Well, you certainly gave us a bit of a start.
I'll offer my apologies, but we weren't sure if the facility might have been compromised.
Well, why would we get compromised? We've been in the inquisitorial vault for decades now.
Because there's a demon on its way.
First I've heard of that.
That might be.
That's why we came to tell you.
I'm fellow Inquisitor Ism Watchmaker Toke. Just give him the badge.
He, as a little cogitator, a little handheld cogitator, reaches out, touches it against the inquisitorial badge. Yeah. Well, looks like. All right. Well, I'm the head curator here, Oral Burr. This is my assistant, Mathis Teller. Mathis reaches out and shakes your hand. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Inquisitor.
Unfortunately, we can expect trouble very soon, and we'll need to be ready for it.
Yeah, well, trouble can expect us. You've seen some of those guns out there.
Transatlantic Inquisitorial Vault Keeper.
I don't know what accent I'm giving this dude. That's only half of what we have. Anything that comes here is looking to get itself blown away. And I can assure you that this asteroid is one of the tightest, most secret locations in all the Inquisition.
The demon has enthralled a former Inquisitor who has been marked for death.
Oh, yes, we'll make sure he's former, all right.
I like your gumption, but let's Did we make our pickup, by the way, for the additional reference materials, or would that come to the vault?
That would be arriving at the vault in the next few days.
Okay. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we need to be absolutely certain. We've seen this demon host once before and know very little about its capabilities, but everything we know is not good.
Well, this place is one of the most locked down locations of anything that isn't destroyed by the Inquisition. We've got heretical texts, heretical artifacts. We even have heretics who, well, let's just say they haven't gotten themselves into the furnace just yet. Everything lovely and locked down. Not a single incident past 4 weeks now.
4 weeks.
That's not very long without an incident.
Incidents happen here or there. This is a very odd location. It was just a blip. A ship arrived to drop off some material before leaving. There was an alert that went out. Looking through it, we determined it was just a false alarm, but we still forced the ship to leave earlier than it had truly wanted.
What ship? Who was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna scrutinize just to see if I can pick out problems in that.
They should re-examine any recent blips.
As far
Yeah,
as
we're gonna need to go over those.
yeah, he looks to be telling the truth.
I suspect he is, but I'm worried about that blip. Is this place like every month there's an SCP Foundation outbreak?
I guess you'll find out. It was a false alarm is what it was, but don't believe I haven't heard of this little Hussar incident. Ever since that, the Lord Inquisitors put out the word, any issues are to be dealt with the utmost seriousness. When that alarm went off, we made that ship leave right away.
Did it complete its drop?
As far as I can tell, just a few people came down, dropped off an artifact, and left. I'm sure they wanted to stay a little bit longer. said they had been in warp for a while and had wanted to be in real space, but not my problem.
What was the artifact?
Yeah, what can you tell us about that?
Let me just take a look. Yeah, it was a some unknown tome, bound in chain, left here.
Fuck.
Unknown, but not my job to check every heretical item. I'm assuming if an Inquisitor comes here and drops off some equipment, it's meant to be It has already been investigated.
Let's investigate that book, because the rogue Inquisitor and his demon host, he gained the knowledge and power to do so from such a forbidden tome. And do we remember the description of the Secrets of the Hidden Path?
The Secrets of the Hidden Path would have been a leather-bound book. It would have a single chain holding it shut, and it would have been stamped with the 8-sided Star of Chaos right on the front cover.
Okay. This book was chained, you say?
About a dozen or so.
Sounds like our book.
It could very well be. We're going to need to look into that shipping and receiving record.
All right, well, come with me. And you board an elevator, and you just feel it kind of just as it slides down deep into the heart of this asteroid. Eventually, the elevator stops with a shutter. The thick, heavy elevator doors slide open, and it's just a long hallway with guards completely down the hall. Each one an inquisitorial stormtrooper at the ready.
Okay. And I expect you've already done your purge of Scala candidates who might have been influenced by the former head of the Ebony Syndicate.
Yep, quite a waste. Couple of them too. Not bad, but they found themselves outside with no void suits. Quite an efficient method, I would say.
Is our finale going to be us playing Among Us? Tigo's looking pretty sus right now.
Just ask who has a red name.
Watchmaker's pretty sus too.
I'm a beginner at this. What defenses do you have if something can breach or teleport aboard, bypassing the orbital defenses?
We have ourselves a little Geller field just for us. Does tend to knock out any and all demons trying to escape. Pressure sensors throughout the facility. Unless they wanted to hide out either on the surface, that'd be a little difficult. And then they would need somebody inside to actually let them in. As for the actual defenses, hundreds of defense platforms all throughout the solar system here. Although, considering your remarkably quiet approach, perhaps I should be working on that.
I think you should spend the next few weeks in preparation for a full-scale assault. I have very little idea what resources this demon will be able to command, but the Inquisitor, former Inquisitor, has decades of off-the-book resources he can avail himself to, and we have to expect that they'll be a step ahead of us.
Yeah, grand. Well, we'll be sure. Well, we can send out a message to the Lord Inquisitor, get additional ships in. Although, really what's great about this place is that nobody knows about it. Or at least very few people do, but if he was a former Inquisitor, yes, he was. He kind of like sighs, not really wanting to accept that Inquisitor turned heretic, but he knows it happens. Yes, he'd be aware of this place. Great. I need some temporary on-surface areas to house them all, too.
We'll need to, or rather, we should also assume that the demon can survive hard vacuum and may be able to extend that protection to others with its powers.
We'll have some... Well, I must say, this... It's not exactly a large surface. We'll have to send out some vehicles to scour the surface, but it's could be done.
And we should be ready to mount a defense of the most critical areas of the vault. Are there emergency destruction protocols if this place is overrun?
Absolutely. In case of emergency, this entire asteroid can be blown in half. But hopefully it won't have to come to that. But each individual vault itself, as we do tend to separate the items into separate areas, each one can be purged with plasma. Generally speaking, I've not run into anything that can't be purged with plasma.
Kind of gives Gar an idea.
Oh boy.
Everybody on the he just gets on the PA system. Attention! If you are hearing this, your name is now Dave. Boop.
Well, you know that Gar does so enjoy burning people alive, and the mental image of our enemies arriving, busting into this place, and in the moment of their victory, being purged by plasma is highly attractive to him.
It would be amazing if we could pull off a con where we just smuggle everything out of this place before they get here, but I don't think we can pull those kinds of shenanigans.
I say we let him in. We let him in when they get to the vault.
There's nothing there.
We press the plasma button.
Well, we can check in with the Lord Inquisitor. I'm gonna guess they won't make it that easy on us. But we should open up communication, and we should ensure we have steady communication outside this sector. We know the demon is able to addle minds, and for all we know, now that it's been unfettered, it can do so from a far greater distance, or even manipulate somebody into actions.
But as you discuss this walking down the hall with Burr and Teller, he brings you to a vault. There are 4 guards outside. And the door itself is a thick bulkhead door that you would expect to see inside of an actual a spaceship. The Burr goes, gives both, puts his hand on to the panel, puts his eye to a little optical reader, and provides his voice. He flinches a bit and then pulls his hand back, a little bead of red in the middle of his hand from a needle prick. Door. It opens up. And he brings you inside, and it is cases of locked safes. Some of them are built into the wall. Some of them are actually standing in the middle of the room with beams of light around them that provide both light, but as you approach, you can just feel that smell of a shield kicking off. And he brings you down the road to a book. It is bound in about a dozen chains, and it is lying in the on a pedestal there.
Let us examine it from
Distance?
pretty much, or at least examine it without interacting with it more than we have to.
Okay.
Forbidden Lore Heresy?
Well, he goes and cites a phrase. The shield turns off, at which point the book is standing there. It's like, all yours, Inquisitor.
Let's inspect the thing.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and just do a Forbidden Lore Heresy.
Yay.
Looking at the book, it looks to just be... It's leather bound. It has a few chains, but they appear pretty new. The book itself doesn't have any iconography indicating that is heretical.
A different book.
You could open it up and take a look further. The chains themselves aren't locked with any padlocks or anything. They're simply hooked to. It's in essence a just a little latch that would you'd open up and it would the chain would come loose.
we're gonna get heresy brain if we look at it. Do we have to roll sanity checks?
It would be corruption, but
Have you had psychers examine this item, in case there's any sort of traps or hazards to inspecting it more closely?
we've had an initial preview. Soccer said it was fine. We expect the Inquisitor who actually drops it off to do their due diligence.
Did you get the name of the Inquisitor who dropped it off?
Yes, yes. Tell her my records. And he hands him a data slate. Yes, this was delivered by authorization of Inquisitor Winters.
Inquisitor Winters has been dead or missing for probably a decade now. I think this book might be a trap.
That's
A trap.
not good, to say the least.
Do you have any sort of fully isolated containment apart from other vaults, so we don't bring it closer to what the demon might be after if this is in fact a backdoor entry attempt?
Yes, we have some psychically locked vaults. He gets on a little communicator. I'm going to need a blank
on this?
down by our. I'm going to need a default by the 2C right now. And after a couple minutes, a person comes in, shaved bald, in just the black jumpsuit with zero indication of their rank or who they are. As they pass by, Burr and Teller, Teller especially feels a little like put off by this, and you can also feel like this bizarre like.
Is this? We've met a null before, right? Wasn't that lady?
Yep.
Is this another null?
As far as you can tell, it appears to be.
Okay.
And he picks up the book and places it in a wooden box. He locks the key, hands it to Burr. May the record show that I am handing the only key to this lockbox to Chief Curator Burr at this time. Burr responds back, the record show that I am receiving the key at this time. Teller marks all that down in a data slate as he attempts to not double over. I will let the record show that I am now escorting this heretical item, and he reads off the actual number it was given to this locked deep vault. He turns out, leaves, and is joined by 4 other people who look very similar to him, shaved bald with zero indication on it, but they are all armed.
Nice. I got to run to the bathroom, but
okay.
Before I forget, I wanted to basically ask if they could pull a manifest of all the drop-offs or interactions with Inquisitor Winters that they've had, so we can see if they've put anything else in, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
My organs.
Did anybody else want to do anything while Matt is using the facilities?
Take a nap.
Yeah, I guess we can go through the manifest if they have one.
Okay. Tell her, get them a manifest of everything we need to worry about. Right away, Chief Curator. And Teller turns and leaves. All right. I can get you some temporary quarters for the time being. I'm assuming you're going to be here a while, correct?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Very well. At which point, he has a couple of guards lead you to, it is a room. There are 4 cots inside as well as a desk. The guard just put, will be available if you require anything of us. Okay. And the curator, Burr, comes by and also says, I want you to complete your investigation quickly. I'd like you out of here as soon as possible. We do not have people stay here longer than they need to. Just something to keep in mind. After about an hour, Teller comes by. And he plops a data slate right in front of you. It's like, there you are. I'm sorry, I must apologize for the chief curator. He's just a bit on edge with everything going on lately. You understand, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bows his head and heads out the door. All right. So you have the manifest in front of you. Going through it is going to be an extended use logic test.
Okay. Let's fill in Mr. Matt here.
Uh-oh,
So
what's up?
we're in our quarters. We have the manifest. Was it Burr's like a little bit of an asshole right now about getting us off the station?
Yeah, Bird doesn't want you on station.
I'll give him a dressing down if one's needed, but we can tolerate it. Now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I figured. And he also makes himself pretty sus just off that.
This really is just going to turn into Among Us, isn't it?
Well, you can. So extended logic test. Okay.
Okay.
Let me see.
Working together, you'd all be able to add a plus 10. So I would say you max this out at plus 30 for your bonus.
30. Okay.
Cool.
Who's got the highest intelligence? I got 2 checks and a 40 as my base.
I've got 41 and 2 checks.
Okay, so you have
And just
like,
logic, you said?
Yep. Each
Plus
one.
30?
Yep. It's going to take an hour for each roll.
Nice.
Wow. Well, on your first roll alone, I'll just do one more, just for the hell of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's enough. Okay, going through the records, they pulled up any and all drops that Inquisitor Winters has done, and it does seem to be somewhat regular. There are points where there's several years in between each drop that he has delivered here, at which point there is about a 30-year gap, and then this is the most recent one since then.
nobody thought a 30-year gap, and then all of this out of nowhere was like suspicious.
It's just one additional drop after that 30-year gap.
And it's this one?
Yep.
Or you mean a different one?
It was that book.
Okay, yeah. I'm worried that bringing it down to the heavy containment is what they want, but also there's literally no place safer we could put it. What measures do you have for repelling a demonic incursion if it bypasses conventional defense?
Are you asking Bert or somebody
Yeah.
else? Well, we got plenty of nulls, plenty of firepower, psychically resistant vaults. We've gotten numerous runic inscriptions that will disrupt demonic and psychic power. So they'd really have to work pretty hard to get in here.
My concern isn't so much brute force as much as surprise and getting a foothold in the right place.
We keep a couple of psychers who are more... Let's just say I would have sent them to the furnace a while ago, but I don't get to make the calls on that. We keep them here. Our most recent visitor has found herself in the locked vault. She's in stasis, heavily drugged.
What was the name of our lady from the auction?
That would be...
You just said it earlier too.
I did. Morgan Toll.
Would it happen to be Morgan Toll?
You know, Toll. Yeah, she's one of our guests here. No, this one's a psyker. This would be Maya Strauss.
Maya Strauss.
I feel like you used that name before.
I have not. I checked.
Okay.
What do we know about their record?
Psyker, known to be an instigator. Nothing officially tied to her, as far as I can tell. But I'm also not in charge of the investigation. I simply lock him up and throw away the key.
We'll need to check those records. There's quite a few open variables, and we've dealt with a very well-connected and canny Inquisitor, and we have to assume the demon has every resource he had.
Teller, what do you know about Strauss? Teller looks... well, she's certainly a powerful psyker, from my understanding. She was delivered to us approximately a year ago by Inquisitor Lamar. It's been a model prisoner as far as one can say. But the incident that happened with the alarm going off just required us to move her down into the deep vault. So she's been placed in stasis. So it's as close as you can to killing her without actually killing her.
Remind me, was Lamar the
He
more
was
radical of the two that were fighting?
Inquisitor Lamar was sort of a friend of Hellsight's. He did have a slightly more radical bent. He was primarily the person he didn't like was that other Inquisitor who is, if I can find her name,
Okay, so
Galena.
Lamar was the more radical one.
Yeah, but he's not like a
He was more prone to solving things with violence than
yeah.
being subtle about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a more radical path while simultaneously having a fire and forget kind of attitude.
Just think about if Tigo was an Inquisitor.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd rather not.
It was you. When I was deciding who I wanted to be the Inquisitor, it was you or Tigo.
That would. I kind of want to see a what if sometime with Inquisitor Tigo.
What if?
Just completely unfucking fettered.
Well, maybe
So
if
how
we
should we handle this? Let's just burn the whole planet down.
we could do another filler episode if we ever do, and then I'll just do a what if episode.
What if in an alternate timeline?
But Tyler, could you? Currently, Strauss, I escorted her down to the deep vault, filled out the record, and as far as I can tell, she's still down there.
Okay.
The glitch itself was merely a small sensor error. Our investigation showed. As thorough as paranoid as an Inquisitor should be, this does appear to just be a non-issue.
Noted. Trying to think, like, the only real problem I can see is if the Winter's book drop-off was basically designed to get brought down into the deep.
It could also be, yeah, you're right, though.
But that is also, like, we don't really have a lot of other options. What about hand weaponry for anti-demon combat? You said you had wards and such?
Yes, we contain numerous wards, glyphs, runic inscriptions designed to prevent demonic incursion. And I am keenly aware of how easily a demon and how eager a demon would be to infiltrate in. But yes, we also contain plenty of weaponry, both things kept to be used by our guards, as well as simple weapons that aren't to be held by more. They're not heretical, mind. They're just devices used by saints or generals from the Great Crusade. Things that a normal person shouldn't wield.
Well, let's go see those.
Those are locked up by order of the Lord Inquisitor.
Then let's speak to the Lord Inquisitor about what measures we can take while we're here.
Well, we have an astropath. We have a few areas of this facility that do allow for psychers to operate, just in case.
Does the Lord Inquisitor... This is out of character. Do we know if the Lord Inquisitor knows that Winters is... He does, right?
You would have reported that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the one who ordered the lockdown lifted.
Okay, so you might want to notify him that Winters did that drop off too?
Yep. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we need to get in touch with him and let him know what's up.
Very well. At which point he brings you to a astropath, and you do see the astropath sitting in a throne with a kind of helmet on and tons of wires leading to it. The astropath just sits there. Chief Curator, how may I assist you? Yes, I need to send a message to the Lord Inquisitor. I'll try my best, Chief Curator. A warp storm has been brewing in the past couple weeks that have been limiting transition.
Fuck.
I will send out the message and hope for a reply. My Inquisitor, what message would you wish to send to the Lord Inquisitor?
We would like to open communications as soon as possible and inform him that Inquisitor Winters made a secure drop-off of a heretical tome to this vault. Also inform him of the warp storm.
As you wish, my Inquisitor. Would you like me to send anything else? These messages are taxing. I'd prefer to be able to send as much as I can in a single message.
Requesting immediate access to vault resources to command a defense against a potential demonic incursion.
Of course. And then you just feel like the psychic power build up as he puts his fingers to his temple and shudders. He starts to sweat and go pale. And then, that warp storm has proven very troublesome. The message has been sent. I will be prepared to receive a reply soon, I hope.
Can you tell if
Please.
you made it through the storm?
Unknown, I'm sorry, my Inquisitor.
Yeah,
Please, I need a couple hours to regain my strength.
Can they tell where the warp storm is coming from, or is?
They kind of can get like an idea of where a warp storm is, but its actual origin would just be from the warp.
Yeah, they can't tell which way it's like expanding, right?
It would take a little while, and warp storms come and go, and they can be very big. In fact, there was a massive warp storm that is what caused the Ebony Syndicate to be able to like spread out in the sector so easily. Was a massive warp storm called the Pandemonium. This warp storm, they just know it is here and around the area.
Okay.
I'll turn back to Teller.
Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller. My Inquisitor, how may I assist you?
How long before we could expect a reply, assuming it goes through?
Well, I'm not sure. I suppose on a without a warp storm, it could go. I imagine Lord Inquisitor is rather busy, but a few hours. If it
Okay.
goes through. Of course, I suppose we also have to worry about if it's going to get. If the reply will be sent through the storm. Well, we'll be available. I would highly recommend against traveling in the midst of a warp storm. If it is,
we're not going anywhere until this is resolved. In the meantime, let's see to local defenses just to see what capabilities we have and plan defense options if we are struck.
Of course. I'm terribly sorry, my Inquisitor. That would be the purview of Burr.
All right, let's go have a word with Burr and probably slap him around with my rosette.
Right this way, and he leads you to the Chief Curator's office. Burr is sitting at a very plain wooden desk. The room itself is very sparse of any decorations. It's just desk, chair, filing cabinets, and a couple of lamps. Burrs looks up. Yes? You sent your message?
I did. We have no way of knowing whether it will come through or not. We'll give it a few hours, but we need to look to defense plans in case the worst happens before we can expect outside support.
Alright, well, this facility contains 100 stormtroopers, all well equipped. Gnolls, psychers we could utilize for assistance. We have about 100 orbital defense platforms. Each one is capable of taking down one of your ships with a single shot. They'd have to bring in a battleship to even hope to crack this planet, open up the vault.
And that's when the battleship comes in.
And even then, it might have itself a bit of a rough time. If a full Chaos Fleet comes in, they could take us, but I would say if a full Chaos Fleet comes in, we have quite a bit more trouble.
What about measures against infiltration? Do you have fallback points and bulkheads to fight corridor to corridor?
We can seal off the corridors. In fact, most of them do seal already, just as a way to prevent any heretical action or anything. We keep numerous heretical artifacts here for further study or just as a precaution without needing to destroy them. Some of them actually do contain demons, and whatever Inquisitor brought it in thought it better to simply lock them away than destroy them and release the demon. Those are all kept in the deep vault, though.
What can you tell me about the deep vault? If I were to attempt an insertion strike to overcome a defense I couldn't overcome by force, that's how I would do it. And I have to assume our Inquisitor and his demon will think the same way.
The deep vault itself is directly in the center of this asteroid. It is immediately next to our plasma generators. In event of an emergency, it will be the first destroyed. When I say we can crack this this asteroid in half, I do mean it. That is the point where the first explosion will go off.
Good.
We are quite prepared to destroy ourselves in a case of emergency. But as far this,
I'd be glad of those preparations for the days coming.
What about communication protocols, check-ins?
we're mostly a quiet site. We're meant to be. We have people check in, tell us that they are going to be do a drop off. We see a bi-yearly sweep through by inquisitorial agents to ensure everything is as it should be. In fact, we should be seeing one shortly. Thinking about it. Teller. Yes, we'll be seeing one within the next. Actually, it'll only be 4 days, Chief Curator. Yes. Good. See,
What about internal security protocols?
internal security should be perfectly fine. Each stormtrooper must display their identity, and we have sergeants who will check each one in and out at the start and end of their shift. Our gnolls, our support staff, all of them must maintain specific tight security, so each one's checked in.
How about patrols, coordination, remaining in comm contact?
Patrol is no less than 4 people at a time. Each one must constantly come in to central control once every 30 minutes. And let's be honest, these corridors are so tight, everyone's more or less in constant sight of one another.
I guess we'll go to our quarters, see if the inquisitorial resources got through and whether they have any messages for us. And yeah, I guess we can let them know we are expecting an inquisitorial ship to arrive with some additional resources to research the demon we're investigating / going to try to prevent.
If I had to take a guess, I would say that most likely is the ship that will be running its standard sweep. Probably just had a courier on board. All right, well, very well. You can be here for a few days. Although, warning, if we do get any more issues, we will need to vacate the premise, as per Lord Inquisitor's policy. And trust me, if there are issues and you're on this asteroid and we do need to crack it in half, well, let's just say you can be expended.
All of us can be expended. We're trying to ensure that that doesn't happen.
I've been the chief curator here for quite some time now. I'm keenly aware. which point a Admech priest is at the door.
My chief curator, I would like to perform the standard maintenance rituals.
Chief curator just looks and he says, takes off the band-aid from his hand. Like, come with me. Okay, so a few hours
Seems
pass.
like he hates his life.
Probably could have better DNA readers, but okay. So a couple hours pass while you wait for the message to arrive. Did you want to do anything in those couple of hours?
Mostly just continue to figure out what the defense situation looks like in case stuff can, bypass or disable the defenses we're supposed to have. Because I'm
Okay.
expecting the worst.
Well, you told you what the defenses were, and these are all platforms. So you would have knowledge that a few of them would be actually on the asteroid itself, and the rest would be on smaller platforms, either entirely artificially built or just stuck onto the sides of smaller asteroids throughout this system. To actually investigate them in person, you would have to walk to them.
We probably don't need to literally walk to each station, but I'm still worried about the infiltration strike more than anything else. Like some way you could knock out a bunch of the defenses all in one go.
Each individual defense platform, with the exception of the ones stored located on the surface of the vault, would have their own individual plasma generator to provide enough power for them.
Okay, and how about the main facility itself? I'm just going to continue doing this paranoid, look for loopholes, and look to set up defenses.
Okay.
Kind of shit that I always do.
And I'll just have you basically asking people who are in the know and just go through. The facility itself has a main generator bank, as well as smaller sub-generator banks in case that main one goes out. Each one is rigged to explode in sequence if needed. And there are also different, basically large batteries that are meant to provide constant power in case of emergency.
Okay. Well, I guess I've got nothing further. I've done most of my usual.
All right. Did anybody else want to do anything?
Nah, there's nothing for me to really do here.
Okay.
No more setting up bombs.
Well, you were a willing accomplice, even if you didn't know.
You don't seem to understand what the willing part of willing accomplice means.
I mean, you literally didn't even ask. You just helped me, and I directed you.
That was pretty amusing. I thought for sure, in your paranoia, you're gonna be like, "What's this
know,
tech used for?"
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for that.
I mean, I expected you to be doing something. I didn't expect it to be that.
You also didn't expect to be pulled into it.
Just discreetly have you killed later. It's fine.
Don't worry, I have fate points.
You're not wrong, actually. That would be a pretty good background thingamajig. Survive with bullshit. Anyway.
Oh, okay. But yeah, did anybody actually want to do anything else, or?
My brain no work good.
Okay. Well, we'll say it's been a couple of hours at this point. A message is sent to you. The Astropath has received garbled transmissions. The actual reply back from the Lord Inquisitor was very difficult to understand as it travels through the warp storm.
Did you manage to make anything out from it?
Able to tell that the delivery vessel is still on, the investigation vessel is still on, basically scheduled to drop off the crew that's going to both take a sweep through this facility as well as bring you any reference material that you would ask for.
What non-heretical resources are there that we might be able to use to keep researching, if any?
None currently. Like, you've really expended everything you have that's non-heretical. You would need to reference.
Get radical if you wanted to get more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could also just fast forward until like the time passes.
I'll keep my eye out for any disturbances and tell the guy that I expect to hear of anything out of place.
Okay. Currently nothing. It really has been very quiet. And in fact, rather monotonous as the time goes on. Days pass. Faceless stormtroopers just walk by. Like, this is like every few minutes they like you could hear them walk by your door. Some of them they actually open up the door and look inside, like shine a flashlight in there to make sure everything's fine, and then leave. After about 4 days, a message gets sent to you is like the sweep team is down. They are going to be investigating a number of, well, just this facility itself, as well as poring over the records. They are interested in that previous error, but it looks like it's not much.
Okay, what do we know about that sweep team?
Teller just responds, well, as far as I can tell, it's just something sent by the Lord Inquisitor. They come in here with numerous Adeptus Mechanicus, stormtroopers. I believe I'm not an Inquisitor himself who comes in and investigates, but they definitely will do a thorough investigation of the site to ensure everything's good to go. They'll also be dropping off new crew. We will cycle crew through every once in a while. I myself am getting off this place. You've seen how it is. It gets a little much at times.
I'd like to vet those credentials if able, and possibly join them on their sweep.
Absolutely. Oh, and I believe a message was sent. Said that a vessel has dropped down and is waiting on the landing pad for you to come and collect your research materials. Was it?
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's do that, and then we'll join the sweeps.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta get back. Burr's going to have my head. Ugh. And he turns and leaves. So you get on the elevator. Doors shut. Elevator just, and you just feel as it goes up the several hundred meters before eventually reaching like the airlock. And you get inside the airlock. Door shuts, and a little message goes on. It's like, please put on your void suits. Beginning to depressurize.
I'm an Inquisitor. You can't tell me what to do. Yes, I will in void suit.
You pick up the void suit out of the locker, and you find it has been slashed. Completely slashed open.
That sounds about right. I will check the other ones quickly and assume it's the same thing. While
all 4 of your void suits have been slashed open.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
And go ahead and make an awareness roll.
We'll make an awareness roll. Oops, that's the wrong one.
Everybody who's actually all 4 of you are in there, so you can all make an awareness roll if you so desire.
Suddenly I'm thinking about brainwashed stormtroopers.
Actually, you see two people who are looking through this thick window on the interior, looking into the airlock you're in. And Tigo, you actually recognize these people. It's Shad Derup and Cass Sumans.
Yeah, Dave.
And they just hit the button to talk. It's nice knowing you, Tigo. We all knew it'd come to this eventually.
Why are we about to die?
What Hassar wants. At which point they hit a button and the light goes red, and you can start to hear the as the airlock begins to depressurize.
Can I tech use or break something or hit an emergency cancel?
Yeah, how do you want to do that?
I mean, what are the ways that I know this system could be, prevented from killing us all?
Make a tech use roll.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. You know that there are emergency shutoffs inside just in case of emergency, like it kicks off too soon and needs to be the depressurized sequence needs to be shut down.
Or, an attempted murder.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Can we activate that?
You go to it and you find that all the wires have been cut.
Can I splice it back?
Yeah, go ahead and make a tech use roll.
Nice.
Wow. I was expecting that to be a little bit worse, but okay. Yeah, you are able to the air starts to filter out of this room. You can feel where normally it was 1G, 1 earth pressure. You can feel your skin beginning to come
Wait,
out.
are they outside of the room?
Yes, they are.
Can I send Chewie after them?
Was Chewie? I thought Chewie would be in the room with you.
Oh, he can't sneak out through the crack of the door.
No, this is an airlock. This is airtight shut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could have left Chewie behind if you wanted him to attack them.
No, it's fine.
Okay. You feel your skin expand out as the pressure releases and the air becomes far thinner. It's like being on top of a very tall mountain. It's like being on Everest. It's just Everest where you have no safety gear at all. And it takes a few minutes, but you manage to splice back all the wires together and hit the emergency shut-off sequence, at which point the light turns green and you can feel the air start to filter back in.
Okay.
At which point they on the other side are start hitting on the door and they're attempting to unlock the door to just to the outside to blow you out into space.
Okay, can we
They
try to get the inside door back open?
Yeah, they are making a tech use. Oh fuck. They rolled a 1. Yeah, they just instantly doot doot doot, and the door just and it's starting to open up slowly because it does take. It's a big heavy door.
Okay.
What's the use to get back into the station?
That would be another tech use.
Okay. Can I get assistance on this roll? Does anybody else have tech use?
Yes, I have tech use.
Go ahead and add that.
I have a large axe.
I don't think you need it.
I'm gonna leave Chewie behind so he can go maul them.
Well, they're on the other side of this door right now, aren't they?
Well, are they on the outside?
Yeah, so you're basically. I'll do a little.
I think I get it, but yeah.
So if they open the door, Chewie's gonna get projectiled.
Yeah, I will just show you where it is real quick. Let me just draw a shape.
Yeah, he's been projectile enough. He's got shiny armor.
No, not that. Which one was it? Was it Alt to do? Circle. Okay,
Maybe
here
we
we
could
go.
have him bite onto a belt or a harness or something. So after it finishes depressurizing, then he can just run around and fucking tear them apart.
I'll fix that in a second. All right, here you go. And draw a shape. Okay. So you guys are currently in the airlock here. Oop. I thought I fixed that. There we go. Watch me. Okay, you're currently in this airlock. This is very quick and dirty, Bill, but to the north here is almost, it's atmosphere that is less than what you'd find on the moon. And the people who are attempting to murder you are token layer on the other side of this big thick door. Right here. Okay. So yeah, you have a 1 meter door in between the two of you, in between your party and them.
And they're trying to open what door?
They're trying to open the door into space to like vent you into the like to like shoot you into the cold darkness of nothing.
And did Matt just roll to open this door?
Yes, he did. So Matt, Watchmaker, is like, oh shit, and is like, in essence, hot wiring the door, and so this interior door is opening back up into the vault, while the exterior door is also opening up. And they're like, ah, shit. And they just, like, run back and jump in the elevator and are, like, heading back down.
Let's go kill them.
Yep. I'm going to try to calm. Can we reach the,
Well, currently you're in a bit of trouble still, because while the interior is opening up, the exterior is still opening, and you can feel the air just getting sucked out.
Can we get through to where they were standing and then hit the thing to turn that back the fuck off?
Yeah, go ahead. So you jump through the interior door. You slip through very quickly through the interior door. Both doors are still continuing to open. Air is being pulled through, and it's almost completely like gone at this point. They have stuck some material into like the panel to like basically do an ad hoc tech use on it. So you're gonna have to go ahead and just like.
Another tech use.
Yep.
Always with the tech using.
Any strength to pull it out?
You
I
could
feel like
attempt.
that might make things worse.
You could try it.
No, never mind. Matt's got it.
That could
Okay.
work.
Hey.
Fiddling with what they've been doing, and like you're able to quickly fix the issue, and both doors begin to shut again right as the oxygen like begins to like
Get
thin
pulled
out
your
completely.
lungs.
Yeah, it's like you try and take a breath, and there's nothing there, and you're like find yourself kind of like slowly suffocating. Everyone actually make a toughness test.
Won't suffocate.
Ow. Well, at least
I mean-
it wasn't a critical fail. Ow.
Oh god.
All right, you all failed. Everybody takes a point of fatigue.
Okay.
Where do we do that?
It would be
Below your movement on the.
yeah. It shows fatigue.
It's like right above where you see your armor.
Yep,
Okay.
right by the size.
So can I have Chewie track these people?
Yes. So at this point, the air starts to come back in. Now the doors are closed. The oxygen starts to fill back in, and you're like coughing as you like this brutal, stale air enters your lungs, and it's the sweetest air you've ever felt.
Does the
As
elevator?
soon as I'm able to get words out again, I'm going to try to calm. First off, were those guys dressed as stormtroopers?
Yes, they were.
I'm going to try to get through to the head custodian.
Okay. As for Chewie, so you ordered Chewie to like track him.
I'm gonna say Chewie, find those fuckers.
All right.
They went down the elevator though, so
Yeah. You hit the call button for the elevator.
could we see before we do that? Does it have numbers on it?
No. It basically has two levels it goes to. It goes from the airlock here down to the vault.
Was it a super long elevator?
It took a few minutes. It took like about 30 seconds.
Do we have enough time that we could stop it mid-travel?
No, at this point, like
Ah.
once they jumped in, you getting through the door and fixing it and waiting for the air to like filter back in, they would have had time to get through.
Okay. Am I able to make any comm contact?
Let me see if perhaps because I gotta see if their thingy worked.
Ah.
Oh, you lucky little bastard! I saw the double on the tens die, and then it rolled a 0. Nope, their little comm blocker is actually on the fritz.
Nice. So I will comm as soon as I'm able to and say, 2 stormtroopers just tried to kill us. They slashed the void suits. Lock down everything.
Burr's on the other end. What?
Lock down everything!
And just alarms start going off throughout the facility. It's just a cacophony of sound. Red emergency lights are going off, and the entire facility is abuzz with activity. And I think we're going to call it here for the week.
Good